driving also a GTR. Filling the entire Daigo Saito. Let's have a look at the replay. Look at that. Look at the amount of speed from Daigo. The sweet smell of his Sunoco racing fuel filling the air here. The speed of multiple champion Daigo Saito, champion in Japan, champion in the USA series. Winning competitions all around the world. Daigo Saito is definitely one to look at this weekend. I have a score there. Look at the speed there. 94 kilometers an hour for Daigo Saito. But a 99.5. So of course Kawabata we just saw there, 99.58. So Daigo Saito just barely missing out on the first qualifying position so far on his first qualifying run. But still, nevertheless, second place so far for Daigo Saito. It's safe to say he's going to be up the top end of the field when it comes to the finals in qualifying. So we've seen a few runs here so far in the IDC. And you may be wondering, how does the judging system actually work here? Well, of course, this weekend it is a computerized judging system. It's actually quite different to how other competitions are judged in other countries. So there's certain aspects of the EDS that can make it easier for the drivers and some which can make it harder. But we'll go into that in a minute. Here comes our next driver, car number 19, Georgi Chivchan from Russia. It's his first qualifying run. So first run there for Gotcha, as he's known. Let's watch the replay. Watch the flick here. Nice angle, rate to angle. The rate at which the car flicks out. Shifts down a little bit. Maybe off the accelerator for a bit too long there. Slowing the car down a bit, but here picking up again, speeding up. So as we were saying before, each of these sectors scored out of 30, 25, and then 15, 15, 15. Our score there, 98.88. On the left of the screen, you can see there, Sector 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Sector 1 is basically the entry. Sector 2 is the long, sweeping left-hand corner on the top half of the course. Sector 3, the bottom hairpin that they come flying into. Sector 4, the opposite hairpin, which leads them back around the course over the finish line. And then Sector 5, just after the hairpin, between the hairpin and the finish line. So each of those sectors weighted slightly differently. So it may be a bit difficult to follow at home, but you should know that all the drivers have been very well informed as to what each of the sectors is weighted for. Of course, it takes a while to explain it because we have a lot of drifting to watch, but we'll make it as clear as we can as we go along. Next comes car 24 from the USA, Michael Esser, the last driver in Group A. So first run here for Michael Esser representing the USA. All BMW, all German car this, also running a BMW straight six engine turbo. It's not a 2JZ swap like we see in a lot of other BMW drift cars. So flicking it into sector 3 there, that's a great rate to angle there. A little bit of an understeer. And right wheel, right to the edge of the track there. Not a great score there for Michael Esser. That's currently puts him in 5th place in Group A. .97. He's still going to have to. He's going to have one more run. He's going to need to improve on that score if he wants to get to the top end of the field. So quite slow on the entry there to 83.7. We're now into Group B. Our next driver, Kim In-sung. Sorry, we are back into. Sorry, this is car number 14. Group A, second run this time. It's the second run for Kim In-sung. Of course, all these guys get 2 runs. Their best run score is the one which puts them through to the final placings for the battle lineup. A big understeer there at the end of the course for Kim In-sung. Watch the replay here. Here's a good example of what not to do on this particular course. So flying in there. Line is not a judged part of this course. Of course, it is quite narrow. There's not really a whole lot of lines you can take on this particular course that will give you an advantage or disadvantage other than being able to keep your average speed up and giving you space to throw the car in, as he's doing right here, as you can see, rotating around like that. That is what the DOS system is looking for. But kind of washing out slightly there, keeping it on the track, unlike he did last time. He got a -8 penalty on his first run for dropping wheels off left and right. He scored there 93.17, so yeah, not a good score for Kim In-sung. His first run will be the one which will determine his rank in the top 16. Interesting thing to note is that a lot of the Korean guys here, they actually have car stereos and actually air conditioning still in their competition cars. So it's still kind of street style for them over there. It's good to see. I'm sure they'll be quite comfortable. Although the weather here today in Tokyo, it's nice and cool. Good for spectators, good for the cars as well. Here comes the second run for Hideaki Fujino. Car number 11 entering the course. replay here for Fujino. Once again, very good consistent speed throughout the entire course. That's going to get him a good score. The flick there, one of the best we've seen so far today. Fujino known for being very consistent on all his runs, which makes him not only a threat in qualifying but also in battles. There's not a whole lot you can do to throw this guy when it comes to battles. Now score then 98.2 for Fujino. So just a good average scores across the board. Nothing too extreme. It's very like Fujino, just to keep a clean, consistent run with nothing too crazy here or there. But it's the battles where he's a massive threat. And he should be making it through with a score like that. 98.20, entry speed of 88.7. All right, next driver now from Italy, Manuel Vacca on his second run in the BMW. He had a great first run, see if he can improve on that. Second run there for Manuel Vacca. Interesting looking setup in this car. It seems to be very neutral in its setup. Almost a four-wheel slide into the entry there. Now watch the angle of the car, keeping it nice and consistent until you come into the end of sector 3 right here. Flicks it in hard. Keeps it dead on middle of the track. Great second run for Manuel Vacca. Losing him in there in the smoke there. So a 93.91. A little bit weak on his entry. You can see there, yeah, a little bit slow on his entry. And didn't wind on a whole lot of angle. We saw that on his first run as well. Although sector 3 where he threw it into the hairpin at the bottom of the course, where we were calling it out before. Yeah, very good there. But the rest of the course just not that great. Sector 4 being the exit from that corner. Yeah, he was quite slow there with very minimal angle. Next car now, car 6. Charles Ng from Hong Kong in his second run. So compare those two runs we just saw, Manuel and Charles. So you can see right here, big angle on the entry. Holding it very late. And then holding that angle consistently through the sector there. All the way, nice clean angle through sector 2. Throwing it in here. This is where Manuel did quite well. A little bit of a wobble there, but right here, you can see him throw it in. This is going to be a good score for Charles, and there it is, a 98.96. Currently putting him into third place after his second run. Yeah, great entry there. 29.89 out of 30 on Sector 1. And a good entry speed there, 86.62. 2 as in as well, not 2. Already comes the second run for Masato Kawabata in the GTR. He's currently sitting in first place so far in Group A after his first run. See what he can do in his second run. Be surprised if that was even an improvement on his first run. Look at this entry here. Look how late he's throwing it in there. But here's part of the course that's going to get him big points. Watch the throw in here to Sector 3 right there. Look at the amount of angle. The car almost going backwards in, riding around the apex there all the way to the edge of the track, holding that big, deep angle. And there you go, 98.62 for Kawabata. No penalties applied there. First place with a 90.2. A 98.62 and a 90.2 km/h entry speed. So improving on his first run there, Masato Kawabata keeping his first place position after his second run in Group A. But if there's anyone who can beat him, as I said before, it's this guy, Daigo Saito, second run. Wow, amazing second run for Daigo Saito. Doing everything Kawabata did and more. Watch the amount of angle. He's on the accelerator the whole time, keeping that forward momentum, keeping that important average speed up for the entire course. And watch this here all the way through Sector 2. And now entry into Sector 3 right here. Watch this. Throwing huge angle just like Kawabata. Watch the rear tire, watch the right rear tire all the way to the edge of the track, maxing out those angle points. This is going to be a big score for Daigo Saito. There it is, over 100. Daigo Saito, Sector 1 and Sector 5, maxing out the score. And look at the entry speed there, 97. Amazing run for Daigo Saito. That is going to be very, very hard to beat. That's going to cast a shadow over the rest of the field now. All the people in in Group B and Group C. Over 100 points for Daigo Saito on his second qualifying run. So hard act to follow there for car 19, Georgi Chivchan, Gotcha from Russia. All right, let's just the replay here for Gotcha. Not a bad run, although hard act to follow for Daigo Saito. And so this run here for Gotcha. Still not too bad though. 98.82, great entry there, Sector 1. Perfect 30-point score, putting him in 4th place. A few runs ago, that would have been amazing, but we just saw Taigo Saito do his run, unfortunately, for Gotcha. All right, second run now for Michael Esser from the United States in the BMW. Second run, here comes Michael Esser in the BMW. Now this is an interesting run for Michael Esser. He took an interesting strategy and it's gonna bite him. So good entry for Michael Esser so far. Good spin on the entry, good angle. So he will get a good score for Sector 2 here, the long sweeping left-hander. But unfortunately here, watch this, coming into Sector 3, throwing it in very deep. Like we saw Daigo do, like we saw Masato Kawabata do, but right here you can see there, dropping a wheel off the edge of the track. That is going to give him a penalty. That is going to give him a -2 penalty for dropping one wheel off the edge of the track, and you can see that's a big shame for Michael Esser. 95. Good speed on the entry in 88, so a 29, almost a perfect score on Sector 1, a 29 out of 30. So good scores overall, but unfortunately, -2 there. Obviously, his spotter was in his ear there saying the other guys were doing big throws into Sector 3. You got to do that. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to pull up in time, dropping a wheel off the edge of the track, and a -2 penalty. All right, here we go. We're about to begin Group B driving. Group B qualifying. In this group, we have from Chinese Taipei, Feng Zhenxi. From Lithuania, Orimas Bakchis or Odi Bakchis. From Thailand, Pon. From Italy, Guidetti Riccardo. From Japan, Masashi Yakoi. From China, Zhang Xiaohua. From Korea, Kim Dong-wook. And from Malaysia, Muhammad Zahem Hamdan. So about to be our first driver, Feng Zhenxi from Chinese Taipei in the Nessun S15 Silvia. Once again, we'll be driving him through the course. Sector 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. what the electronic system is looking for is how hard you can throw it into the first corner. It literally measures the rate to angle. No human judging here. The only human judging is penalties which are applied to cars dropping wheels off the edge of the track. So the entry speed to the first corner, it is measured and it is factored into the score. The rate to angle, basically how hard the cars can flick to angle. Each car is compared to the exact same criteria. Also, the average speed through the sector, it is measured. It's all done by GPS. Each of these cars has a GPS measuring device on it, otherwise known as a drift box, which relays the car's position 30 times a second, so 30 hertz, back to the central judging computer, and it's all judged in real time. Which means the system is extremely consistent across the board, from beginning to end. Our first driver now, Feng Zhenqi. First run. So first run now for Feng Zhenqi from Chinese Taipei in his S15 Silvia. Not a bad run. A lot of these guys really seem to have caught the hang of the course very quickly. But it's going to be the little fine tuning that's going to get them the highest scores, like we saw there before with Kawabata, with Daigo Saito. For example, right here, throwing it in nice and deep. That's what's going to get you the highest score. So Feng Zhenqi, score of 96.89, currently in 7th place after his first qualifying run. So a decent first effort. So if any of you are new to drifting and are wondering, is the course timed at all? Is it, for example, like autocross, where the course is timed from beginning to end? It's not. There's no sort of timing involved in this course. However, speed is factored into the judging system. The average speed through the different sectors of the course factors into the score that these guys are given. So it's not really time, it's speed, which is essentially the same sort of thing. But there is no timing done on this particular course. And of course, this being drifting angle, the slip angle of the car is one of the most important things. And the bigger the angle you can hold throughout the entire course, the better the score you're going to get. But of course, that trades off. The more angle a car has, the faster it's going to slow down due to the grip of the tires sliding in sideways. So it's a fine balance these guys need to ride in order to get a high score. Of course, it can come down to other things, like, for example, coming in with a higher speed onto the first corner. That means you're able to throw bigger angle in and hold that angle for longer, because the car will take longer to slow down. So there's really a lot to it. So a quick break here we're taking as a slight oil down. We've just got our guys out there on the track taking care of that as quickly as possible. So if you're just joining us now, we are about a third of the way through qualifying here. We've finished Group A. We're about halfway through the first run of Group B. And of course, we have Group C to go. Did you get a filter? you get a filter? So I can see on our live stream we've just had a couple hundred extra people join us from the last time I said this. So we'll say it again. Welcome to the live stream, the English live stream for the FIA Intercontinental Drifting Cup. The first ever round held here in Odaiba in Tokyo. We have two full events this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Qualifying in the morning, and then the top 16 battles where we see head-to-head battles in the afternoon. We have 24 drivers assembled here from all around the world. From countries like Korea, of course, Japan, Italy, Hong Kong, Russia, the USA, Thailand, and even Iran. We have a driver here from Iran this weekend, Shahab Pishanyadar. Good to see so many drivers from all around the world, all of which are multiple champions from different series, also from their home countries, also from international series that run as well. This event here today encompassing all series from all around the world. Of course, this being the initial round, there's going to be a few questions here and there's going to be a few issues, of course. But of course, this event being run this weekend by Sun Pros, known for running the D1 Grand Prix series. They run multiple series here at this exact venue. So they have a very well assembled team, getting that oil down, sorted out as soon as possible. So if you haven't already seen the timetable on the IDC Facebook page, we're running two full competitions this weekend, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. We are currently in qualifying for the first leg, otherwise known as leg one, which is how it's officially written down in the timetable. That's running right now. The time here in Japan is about 10 past 12. The actual top 16 tournament battles will start at 2 p.m. So that's about 2 hours from now. We'll be running this live stream all the way through until 5. So 2 full days, 2 full live streams here this weekend, both of which will be on here on Facebook on the IDC page. So unfortunately we have a full course oil down, which is being cleaned up right now. Okay, here we have, finally we have our special recovery vehicle coming out. Hopefully these guys will head out there quickly and get the track sorted out as soon as possible. Alright, so we are actually running multiple live streams this weekend. Of course, this one, the English version, is going out on Facebook, on the IDC Facebook page. We also have the Japanese version going out on Nico Nico Doga, which is sort of like the Japanese version of YouTube. That's the website that the D1 Grand Prix normally goes out on. I'm actually normally doing the English commentary on that, but this being an international event, we're running it on the Facebook page this weekend. I just heard from the Japanese live stream commentator that, because they can actually see me on their camera, they said, I look a bit lonely over here. I'm actually sitting here with sunglasses and a hoodie and my hat. So we are sitting out in the middle of the course. This is probably the best commentary position I've ever had. Because I could literally throw this can of coffee here and hit the drivers as they come through the first corner. There's nothing but a concrete wall sitting between me and the drivers. It's a great position to sit in to do commentary, I'll tell you what. Actually, I think we can we cut to the camera here? Just very quickly. Actually, we've head back out. We're out back. The cars are going back out on the track now, so we'll do that in a minute. I'll show you where I'm sitting compared to where the drivers are heading out. It's quite good. I can see in chat that we have quite a few people from Iran watching, or Iranian people watching, waiting for Shahab Pishaniadar. He's actually in Group C. He won't be out in this group, So you still have a little bit of time to go. Also, for the Americans watching, Matt Field is also in Group C. Hopefully he should be out there for Group C. He had a bit of a crash yesterday, which involved him breaking quite a few suspension parts, which he then had to source from various manufacturers. So he wasn't able to go out for. So here comes Odie, representing Lithuania. So Odie there, tagging the wall in the entry. Watch this, watch the right rear side of the bumper, right about there, making slight contact with the wall, straightening the car very slightly, but not really annoying him, able to complete his run without issue. So this Hyundai Genesis right to the edge of the track there, just barely avoiding a penalty for running wide. This extremely custom LS7 engine. There is literally a brand name on every single part bolted to that car. Sorry, he did get a penalty. I couldn't see it from this angle. That's a shame for Odie Bakchis. Getting a penalty for running wide in Sector 3. So the way these penalties are applied is we have human judges in an elevated position who can see the entire course. Their whole job is to make sure the cars stay on course. And they are very strictly enforcing it this weekend. If cars drop wheels off on multiple sectors, it is possible to get multiple penalties. We saw that this morning with Kim In-sung, the Korean driver, getting a -8 penalty for dropping off multiple times. So next driver, Pon-chan, as he's known to the Japanese guys here. And let's call him Pon to keep it simple. All right, Pon. Smoking out the final corner here. Let's watch the replay here. It's a great line there from Pon, keeping it exactly where he needs to keep his speed up nice and high and still have lots of room to keep his angle all the way out there. Nice consistent angle too. This isn't going to be a bad first score for Pon. So it shouldn't be a bad, should be fairly middle of the road score for Pon. Let's see what the JOS system has to say. Yeah, 97.18. A little bit low on the entry speed there, 85 could be high. We've seen well into the 90s from our higher speed drivers here this weekend. So Pon, a regular competitor here in Japan. Next driver from Italy, car number 8, Guidetti Riccardo in the BMW. Here's his first qualifying run. That run there from Riccardo. Quite a few mistakes on this run. See, look at that. No angle on the entry there. Winding it on very late. That is not what the EDS system wants to see. It wants to see a big flick into that first corner. That is what's going to get them maximum points. And that is not what Riccardo did. Also here too, keeping a fairly consistent angle, but not really winding it on, not really throwing it in. And as you can see, the result there, 90.18, not a good result there at all for Riccardo. So the lack of angle and lack of throwing it hard in the corners there was reflected in that score. So if you want a good example of how you need to throw it into the corner, here comes Masashi Okoye, car number 12 from Japan. Watch this. Okoye really working that 2JZ engine hard. Taking a fairly shallow line there. It's kind of odd. Just seeing his practice runs, I would have thought he would have taken a bit of a wider line, tried to keep his speed up a bit more. But Okoye, interesting strategy for him. Huge angle coming in there to sector 3. And sector 1. So obviously Okoye figuring out the scoring he needs, the scoring system of over 30 points on his first run. But that score there, yeah, look at that speed, 95.2. All the other competitors really need to take a look at this run and see Okoye's entry speed there, 95 kilometers an hour. Overall, great score there for Okoye, currently sitting in 5th place. Our next driver now, car number 17. From Malaysia on his first qualifying run, Muhammad Zaham Hamdan in the BMW. Here comes his first qualifying run. And Muhammad colliding with the wall there right before sector 3. See, they're absolutely shattering that rear wing. So here comes his entry. It's looking pretty good so far. Watch the flick back here. Early on the accelerator. But as he comes around here, towards the end of sector 2, the long sweeping left-hand corner, right about here, you can see the car starts to straighten up a little bit. He flicks it out, collides with the wall. So obviously he's running really wide out towards the wall. It's not the place he wants to be. These guys really want to take a middle line to give them enough space on the left and right of the car to flick out as hard as possible. Mohammed completing his run there. So that's going to end up with a 0 after Sector 2. But he actually will get points for Sector 4. You see there, Sector 4, he actually got a score for it because he did actually complete it. But a -5 there for running completely off course. And of course, Sector 3 there, that hairpin at the bottom of the track where he ran off, a 0. And also Sector 5, a 0 there because he did straighten up and drive over the finish line. So unfortunate there for Mohammed. Hopefully there's not too much damage. It did look like he just collided with the rear of the car, not the wheel. So he should be able to complete that run, his second qualifying run, and get a score. So hopefully Mohammed will be back for his second qualifying run in his Lexus. Speaking of second run, here comes our second run in Group B. First driver Feng Zhenqi from Chinese Taipei. Here comes his second qualifying run. Place in qualifying, a good position to be in. Of course, he really wants to improve on that. I don't get the feeling that this is going to be improvement on his first run. He was quite slow for the entire course, and of course average speed is something that is fairly heavily judged. Flicking it back into Sector 4 and 5 over the finish line, but I don't think that's going to be an improvement over his first run. And there you go, 96.22, so not an improvement over his first qualifying run. Feng Zhenqi from Chinese Taipei. He's currently in 9th position, and that's where he'll stay, if not lower. For a second now for Odi Bakchis in the V8 powered Hyundai Genesis. So Odi currently sitting in 10th position after that first run where he did actually he collided with the wall, which straightened his car out slightly and caused him to lose speed. That would have given him a bit of a disadvantage on his first run. Although this run much cleaner. But watch this though, see right here. Okay, obviously no, so he didn't go to the edge of the track, he didn't get a penalty. 97, putting him into 7th place. Odi Bakchi is a great position to be in after his second qualifying run. We are roughly halfway through the qualifying field right now. So Odi, good position to be in right there. So if you just joined us over the past few runs, I'd like to say once again, welcome to the FIA Intercontinental Drifting Cup, being held here in Odaiba in Tokyo in Japan, the birthplace of drifting, and a great place to be with 24 of the world's best and most winningest, if that is a word, drivers from all around the world, or should I say drifters. We have worldwide representation here in Tokyo at the very first FIA Intercontinental Drifting Cup. We're running 2 events this weekend, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. We are currently halfway through qualifying for the Saturday round. The very first time we'll be running a top 16 battle. That will be held later on today at this venue here at Odaiba. Second run coming up now from Pon from Thailand. Here's Fair Lady. Let's have a look at the replay of Pon's run. Got to say, very low average speed for the entire course for Pon. This car not really picking up like some of the other cars we've seen here today. Fairly slow for the entire course. Of course, he is drifting, but speed is a judged part of this course. It's not just a slow rolling burnout around the entire course. You do need to keep high speed. You can see there Pon, the angle of the car kind of wobbling around there too. So score there 97.59 for Pon, 7th place. Not too bad considering his run, but a great entry speed there, 89.0. Really want to see more guys in the 90s here. Right, second run now for Guidetti Ricciardo. Entry to the course right here. Right, end of the run there for Guidetti Ricciardo. Let's have a look at the replay here. He did kind of cut the course at the beginning there. I'm not sure that's going to be a penalty applied or not. Winding on the angle fairly late, but look at the speed he's holding here through this corner. And flicks it in just TC. Just shimmy the wheel to the left, brings the rear of the car around. Yeah, fairly low entry speed though. He did take a very shallow line considering his low entry speed. 78.2, putting him in 13th place. It's not really looking good for Ricciardo. We do have 24 drivers here today, but only 16 will be entering the top 16 battle tree. All right, next one now, Masashi Yokoi. Signature Yokoi style, they're working the clutch and the accelerator really hard, keeping the maximum amount of grip on the rear of that car, keeping the weight balanced on the rear. Lots of forward momentum for Yokoi. Corey, that entry there. And you have the score there, maxing out the first corner score. 98.4 kilometre an hour entry speed. That is an amazing speed there for Yokoi. 98.45. Yeah, they're not looking for slow entries here. They're not looking for slow driving. They want high speed. Despite this being a small technical layout, speed is a big factor of it. 98.4 for Yokoi, 5th place. That entry speed there overshadowing his actual score. Second one now for Mohammed Zaham Hamdan after that collision in his first run. He's got to keep it off the wall at the end of Sector 2, going into Sector 3. Right here is where he screwed up last time. The replay here for Mohammed. Bit better this time. Steering his 2JZ powered Lexus IS300 around his technical track. So here's where he collided with the wall last time, but this time, no problem. Good angle coming into that sector. Maybe winding on a little bit too late. So Zaham's in 12th position with a 94. That's not looking too good for him after that first run, a 0 through Sector 3. Currently in 12th place. It's not looking good for him to make it through to the top 16 today. Alright, we're into our third group now. We just had a very quick finalised cleanup of the track there just to make sure everything was okay before we sent out Group C. So this is our final qualifying group here. So quick warm-up run there for all our Group C drivers. So we have in Group C, drivers from Malaysia, Brazil, Thailand, Iran, Russia, France, and the USA. All right, our first driver in Group C from Malaysia, Tengku Janlei, driving the Nissan 180SX. So interesting run there from Lei. Almost like a sort of a display run rather than an actual judged run there. Very flashy driving from Lei. But we'll see if his speed and angle can match up to the other competitors here today. Of course, it's one thing to appeal to the crowd, but there you go. It's another thing to appeal to the judging system and to the judges. 81.0 entry speed. Really want to see more 90km/h entries, guys. 96.88, currently in 11th place, so not a bad first run once again for Janlei. But a lot of room for improvement, especially on the entry there. 28.6. Really want to see that in a 29 to give him any chance of getting through to the top 16. But still, despite that, great looking run there for Janlei. All right, next driver now, car number 2 from Brazil, João Barrion. João driving the JZX 100 Chaser. Sorry, Mark II. Here comes the replay for João Barrion. Not a bad entry there. Of course, Barrion getting around all this weekend in his signature leather cowboy hat. Slowly winding on angle there, not giving a very consistent angle. And here comes the entry into Sector 3, the hairpin, the bottom hairpin of the course. So they're 96.64. Sort of average score. Yeah, not getting into the 29s on Sector 1 with that speed, the 85.2 km/h. Not too bad, but maybe his angle lacking a bit there. Still, that is his only first run. Refer to him as S from now on. All these guys have nicknames. It's Pon, S, and M. Maybe I shouldn't say it in that order. N.
Attention, le Nico, on y va.
M and S. So next driver, S from Thailand in the Altezza. Here comes the Lexus. It's a nice, really enjoyable run to watch this. Yes, really working the accelerator hard. Showing a lot of skill with keeping the grip of the car firmly planted on the back. Great entry there, see 29.16. Strong first half of the course, but then falling back slightly, as you can see, through the other sectors. The score is slowly dropping off, putting S into 11th place so far. So not a bad position to be in. Of course, he would like that to be a bit higher. And with that, we are starting to see drivers get knocked off from the qualifying ranks. Of course, we have 24 drivers here. Only 16 are going to go through. And with that run there, we see Guidetti Riccardo actually getting knocked off the top 16 ladder. So he will not be competing today. So that's our first cut for the day. Guidetti Riccardo from Italy getting knocked off. So of course the qualifying system here. Two qualifying runs, and the best one score is the one that is counted to the final score. So you can get a 0 in your first run and 100 in your second run, and you should rank first or second place. So it's not an average score, it's the single best score out of 2 solo runs run in these groups. So we run the groups in A, B, and C with about 7 drivers in each group. So there is a little bit of a gap between the 2 solo runs. We don't run them back to back. Obviously, it's to give the drivers a chance to let their cars cool down between runs, maybe collect their thoughts, have a bit of a think about what they just did, and see if they can put down an even better score on their second run. So we are currently into the the first group, the first run of Group C. So we're going to see these guys do another run. So Janley, Barillon, and S will be running again. I can see we have a lot of Iranians watching here today. Of course, Shahab Pishani Adar will be running next. Arkady Tsaragradzev from Russia in his R34. Here is their car number 20 from Primoring Team, a Russian Drift Series champion. Arkady Tsaragradzev will be running right now. Here he comes in his R34 Skyline, powered by a RB30. to say that this is going to be a very well judged run from Arkady Tsarigradzev. Look at this entry here. Look at the rate of angle. Nice angle there. Good speed on the entry too. Getting really early in the accelerator. He can really read this track well. And a good score there for Arkady Tsarigradzev on his first run there. Great entry there, 29, almost hitting 88 kilometers an hour there, 98.53. So good scores all the way through, very consistent. This is going to give him a good base into his second qualifying run. So great run there. It looked great and it was a great score. This is the sort of balance we want to see here at the Intercontinental Drifting Cup. Matt Fields, first run. Oh, wow, look at that rate to angle there, flicking in the rear of that car. But watch here, right here, he kind of backs off for a second, waits for the cars to settle, and right there gets an accelerator quite late. That's going to mean he's going to have quite low average speed through Sector 2. And here's going to be a big mistake right here. Watch this, Sector 2, looking good so far. We didn't see it in the replay. In Sector 3, in the bottom hairpin, he did wash out. He exited 13 out of 15 in Sector 3. He slowed down quite a lot. Wow, 15th place for Matt Field. He's right on the edge. So this means if at least two other drivers get better scores than Matt, he's going to get knocked out of the top 16. Here comes our last driver in Group C on his first qualifying run. We have M from Thailand, Uttapon Prakopong. So it looked like a good start to this run for M, but the thing about this run is he was really on and off the accelerator for a long time, waiting for a long time for the car to settle down and then really getting the accelerator hard, smashing that limiter. That's going to mean he's going to have a low average speed for the entire course. You can see that. So 96.33. Oh wow, 15th place. So yeah, so it was a good entry, you could see that. But for the rest of the course, just a little bit more effort into keeping his speed up and keeping his angle up would have resulted in a much better score there for M. So yeah, that means Matt Field right in 16th place after that run there from M. So everyone from watching from the United States, Matt, right on the limit of getting knocked out of the top 16. So still waiting to hear what happened to Shahab on his first run. I'll let you know as soon as I can find out. Here comes the second run now for Tengku Janlei. So once again, another run here from John Lay. Really exciting run to watch. The crowd really enjoying it. But will he be able to find that balance between getting a good average speed, good angle, and a good flick into the corners that he needs to get a good score? And there we go. Great run there from John. 98.15. Great entry, good average scores across the entire sectors with